Hey guys, it's Lee. Welcome back to Ross Rod Shop. Today I'm working on the Jeep, the TJ. Just got a couple of tires back from the tire shop. I'm gonna put those on the front. I've got the dash apart, as you can see. I vacuumed it out and I'm cleaning it up. It's after work today, it's late. I'm not going to get on the major stuff like the frame and stuff until I have more time to work on it. Now that'll be in future videos. It's got like a lot of these TJs do, the frame is rotted real bad on the driver's side. Passenger side actually is not that bad, but I still have to fix a place on the rear. The center part and the front part are good. The front part on the driver's side is good, but the center and the rear is just shot. So that'll be later videos. Since I didn't have I got to work, today's a Friday, I got to work tomorrow, so I don't have a full weekend to put on it. So I didn't really want to, I wanted to get started on something on it, but I didn't want to get started on that yet. So I decided to go ahead and yank all this dash stuff apart. As you can see, I've got everything laid out here on the ground. I'm going to clean it. I've got me some Chemical Brothers all-purpose cleaner. I'm gonna clean everything real good and paint all this stuff and get it looking good again. And it had that common problem with these things where the dash and the tack goes to zero. So I went ahead, and all you do is, when that happens, you just pull this cluster out, which is very simple to do. There's lots of videos online. Then you'll take a flat tip screwdriver, and the little prongs here, you'll just take and move them just a little bit, all 10 of them on each side. Just move them just a little bit so they'll hug in there. And don't forget to put you some dielectric grease in there before you slide it back in, and then that takes care of the problem on these TJs. That's a common problem. That and the rusted frames is a very common problem on these things. And how you see this thing is basically how I got it. Somebody's tried to fiberglass over some rust there. I'm gonna cut that out and put some metal in there. It needs a rear floor pan on the driver's side. I'm gonna repair that. And then I got to get 2 more tires. I got lucky and found these 2 at the junkyard. They had got in a wrecked Wrangler, and it had they had just taken these off of that Wrangler, and I happened to walk in there. Man, got a killer deal on these 2. I mean, look at that, how deep that tread is on that tire. And I got them things for $50 a piece. Just a steal on those 2 tires. So now I got to find 2 more just like them. And guess what? I don't see any out there on Marketplace or anything, and they're $232 a piece new. So yeah, I'll get after that at a later date. You know, I'm not going to drive this thing until I fix the frame. I was a knucklehead and then drove it an hour home from buying it the day I got it. And if I had known how bad, I got up underneath it and did not look on the inside part of the frame. I seen the outside out here, and somebody had booger welded it, and I seen that, and I thought, well, that's a temporary fix, and did not crawl all the way up underneath it and look at the inside of the frame. And the inside of the frame was completely rotted apart with that lower control arm bracket. The upper part of that lower control arm bracket on the inside is not connected at all. And I was running 60, 65 down the highway, and it's 54 miles from here to there. And she made it. By the grace of God, she made it. And then the tires were horrible. The tires were horrible on it. And when I pulled in here into the yard here, I pulled it around there. I was going to wash a bunch of mud off the side of it, and the right front tire popped when I stopped right over there. So just real lucky. The Lord was with me. He got me home that day. So now I'm starting on it. And like I said, I don't have a full weekend this weekend, but I wanted to get started on doing something on this Jeep. So I'm getting on the dash. I'm gonna take like I said, I've taken everything apart, and again, it's very easy. A bunch of these little Phillips head screws, real easy to get out, and everything just comes right apart. I mean, these things are real easy to take apart, unless you got to do a heater core. Then you got to take the entire dash out to do that. So yeah, so I'm gonna get after it, start getting this stuff cleaned up and ready to paint, and then we'll be right back. I have got the instrument cluster cleaned up. I popped the lens off. It's pretty easy. All you do is push down on these tabs and push out, and that lens will come off, and then you can clean both sides of it. So I got that cleaned up, wiped off most of the dirt that was on the back of it. So now I got to put some dielectric grease in here, and then slide it back in the dash. We're going to change the turn signal switch because this one is bad. You have 2 plugs back here. Just push the tab in. There's a T20 Torx screw right here on top. Have to take that one out. And that booger's in there pretty good. And then there's a T20 on the bottom down here as well. Remove that one. You have to remove this one over here. Lord. So we can remove this plate off the top. Slide the switch out. Just slide that plate over the emergency flashers there, and then unplug the second plug on the bottom there, and it pulls loose. And that's your turn signal switch. And then we have the new one. It goes in the same way you took the other one out. Set it up in there, then plug your plugs in on the back of it. Like that. And then this one should slide. Okay, well, at least now we know the turn signals are working, in which they were not working before. Slide this plate back over like that. Get it lined back up, get the screw lined back up. Take your Torx bit and go ahead and tighten it back down. The one with the coarse thread goes on the bottom over here. The two on top are fine thread. Get that tightened in. And now we're ready to go. Yep, turn signals are working. Now we can start putting all the dash, put the dash back together. I don't I have not gotten the radio yet. I repainted these pieces the other day, so now we can put these back in. Okay, now we finally got that back on. Okay, now we just, after we get the cover behind the steering wheel, we just slide, we put this metal bracket on down here, just 4 little, one here, 2 on the other side, 4 little Phillips head screws like everything else on here. Then you just set this down in place. You're going to need a stubby screwdriver to put this in. There's 3 Phillips head screws along the top back there, and then there's 1 on each side on the bottom. So go ahead and put your 3 across the top. And then 1 on each side on the bottom here, right here. Okay, after you get this in, you can go ahead and put this top piece back in, and it just snaps down in there. Just set it down in there, line your clips up with the holes, and just push it down, just like that. And then finally, you have your knee knocker piece that goes in. This right here just slides right up underneath the knob here, and then it has 2 little Phillips head screws on either side, and then you slide these little pieces inside the bracket down there on the bottom. All right. There you have it. We've got everything back together. Everything's painted. The benzoyl cover, the vent piece up here, all of this was painted. Painted this and all of that. Painted the console to clean up the dash a little bit. I'm going tomorrow to get the radio and the adapter kit for it, and I'll film putting it in. I took these vents apart, snapped them out of here, cleaned them up, repainted them, all 4 of them. I decided to go ahead and start running the wiring for the sound bar that I got at the salvage yard. You know, at the salvage yard, I just cut the wires here to bring it in quicker. So I was going to go over the wiring, the colors. I was going to go over the colors of the wiring, so you know, if somebody needs some help and needs to know what wires for what, or what wire, if somebody needs to know which wire goes where, we have it. I'm going over it right here. So what we have is, okay, here we have a pink wire with a white tracer coming out of the sound bar. That wire is your positive wire for the dome light. Then you have the yellow coming out of the sound bar. That is your trigger wire for the dome light. Then the brown wire coming out with the light blue is the negative for the left speaker. The brown wire with the yellow tracer is the left positive speaker. The dark blue with the pink tracer here is the negative for the right rear speaker, and then the blue with the white tracer is the positive for the right rear speaker. And that's how all these wires go, so you can connect them and run them accordingly. Again, I was at the salvage yard. The wrecked Jeep had this sound bar, so I grabbed it. My Jeep didn't have one. I'm going to swap out the speakers in there. I've been online and read where they've said that 6.5 speakers will fit in these sound bars, and they sound a lot better, so I'm going to try that, and we'll go from there. And as you see, I'm using the shrink wrap. These wire connectors, they melt. They have the solder in them. They melt down and they're waterproof, which is great when you're having to connect wires in a Wrangler, because you know, odds are if you're doing any kind of off-road and wheeling or anything like that, you're going to get some water in there, so you need stuff. And I will, once these are heated and shrank, I will wrap them and tuck them. There's a wire loom inside on the inside of the Jeep here, and they will be ran accordingly. Now that these have had time to dry, I'm going to tape these. We'll get some electrical tape and tape them up all the way down. Way up. There's a piece right here. They slide up inside this plastic piece right here, and then I can route them all the way up underneath the dash and hook them up. Again, 4 are speaker wires, or 6 wires here. 4 are speaker wires and 2 are for the dome light. Okay, we'll get them cleaned up a little bit. That'll do for now until I get the radio tomorrow. and I can go ahead and route the wires all the way up in there where they need to go. Set them right there. Okay, that's going to do it for tonight. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to get the windshield and a one half door. I found a really good deal on one half door. I'm looking for the other half door, and then we'll put a soft top on it. The tailgate, I got to wait until next week. My hinges are not going to be here till Monday, so that's 6 days away. So I'll get the tailgate put on then, and then next weekend I'll get on the frame. I can't do it this weekend because I have to work this weekend. So next weekend I hope to get under there and at least get one side of the frame done. I'm going to start on the driver's side because it is clearly the worst side. The rear section and the center section are gone, and somebody has just patched it really bad, and that held for me to get home with it. And then the following weekend get on the passenger side, because the only thing on the passenger side that needs to be replaced is the rear section of the frame. The center section and the front section are in good shape. So again, we'll get on that at a later date. That'll be another video. This is gonna wrap up me doing the dash. Again, tomorrow I'm gonna put the radio in. I'm gonna buy the adapter kit, the wiring harness. I'm replacing the speakers here, and then yeah, we'll see how it works out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the website, link down below. Channel's doing great, up to 182 subscribers. I think is a lot. I don't know 182 people, so thank you. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.